Right boys, welcome to the 10th video on my channel. So we've already ranked League 2 fans for the 25-6 season, and it's only right that we do League 1 too. So if you are a League 1 fan, I just want to reiterate, I'm going to be ranking your fans on how good they are at home, how good they are away, and just how good they are in general. At number 24, we've got Stevenage fans. I've had to put Stevenage bottom of this list, mainly due to size and volume. I think generally Stevenage's support is steady but small, and the Lamex very rarely gets loud. I guess there's a few loyal fans, but they're not known for making a major impact home or away. At number 23, we've got Burton fans, same reasons as Stevenage, but I think the atmosphere at the Prelly's not quite as bad. So yeah, and at number 22, this is going to cause some controversy, Rotherham United fans. When people talk about a soulless bowl, the New York Stadium is what comes to my mind. Don't get me wrong, there'll be occasions where the New York Stadium will be full, be lots of atmosphere going on, but they're few and far between. Now, I've been to the Rotherham United Stadium on multiple occasions, and every single time it's just been so underwhelming in terms of atmosphere. It's very, very quiet. The home turnouts have never been great when I've been, and they're not known for having good away fans either. I'm sorry. At number 21, we've got Donny Rovers fans. First and foremost, I think it's a respectable fan base, but one that doesn't travel particularly well. Home games can certainly feel pretty flat when the team isn't winning. And again, a bit like Rotherham's, there's a bit of an atmosphere issue at the Keepmoat Stadium. The fans have never seemed to give it that rocking vibe of a stadium. They've also got an average home attendance of 8,386 this season, which in the grand scheme of things isn't that good when you compare it to other teams in the league, and you consider their capacity is 15,231. They've also just been promoted from League 2 as well, so they're expecting the home attendance to at least be 10,000 most weeks. Come on. At number 20, we've got Northampton fans. Cobblers fans are steady, but not especially vocal. Sixfields has quite a modest atmosphere most weeks, and their away following is average at best. At number 19, we've got Port Vale fans. Now, Port Vale have averaged 8,293 fans at home this season, which isn't crap, obviously, but it isn't that great when you factor in the stadium capacity. Obviously, there's the argument that Stoke is a two-club city, and it's inevitable that Stoke City are going to have more fans, and they're a bigger club. Now, for the past 5 years, Port Vale have averaged at least 6,000 fans at home, which is probably average for League 1 and maybe on the upper end of League 2. But when you talk about home atmosphere, it's on the quieter side. And they're not known for the best away followings either. At number 18, we've got Wigan fans. So the thing that hits me straight away is the fact that Wigan have averaged 9,110 fans at home this season, when their capacity is 25,133. And it's not as if Wigan are a small club, they're at least a high-end League 1, low-end, even maybe even top-end Championship team. Yes, I get they haven't been doing as well as of late, but that is pretty much on par with the average attendance at Lincoln, who've never even been in the Championship, and the stadium's only 10,000 capacity. And Wigan fans aren't really known for doing much away either, so yeah. At number 17, got Reading fans. Now, it goes without saying it's been a very difficult time for Reading fans recently. Such a big club, and the situation was disastrous to see, but it's good to see they're back on track now. And in that difficult time, you saw the passion from the fans, all the protesting, and there was even a fundraiser raised by the fans as well. So why on earth have I put Reading this low? Reading Stadium is a beautiful stadium, but there's no atmosphere. Reading have averaged 13,000 fans this season in League 1, which is decent compared to the rest of the teams. But that is only just over 50% of their stadium filled. Again, I am sorry. At number 16, we've got Wycombe fans. Very, very poor and could have been lower. An average home attendance of 5,630 for a club that was challenging for promotion to the Championship last season. Honestly, nothing needs to be said. I'm just going to leave it there. At number 15, we've got Leyton Orient fans. I really like the feel around Leyton Orient fans. It feels like a community-driven ethos. It's a club with frequent ups and downs, but the fans still tend to be intensely loyal, valuing continuity and identity over fleeting success. They certainly haven't got a bad atmosphere at home, and they always seem to bring decent away support. But overall, in my opinion, there's better fan bases. At number 14, we've got Mansfield fans. Now, Mansfield's average home attendance this season is 7,970, which is actually pretty decent when you consider they didn't have the best season last season. And they do create quite a decent atmosphere at home, to be fair. And a bit like Orient, they do have decent away following. The only reason I put them relatively low is just for me, the fan base isn't the biggest. You look at the season when they went up in the 23-4 season, they still only averaged 7,434 fans at home, which obviously isn't bad when you consider the capacity. But for me, it's just not top 10 worthy. And at number 13, we've got Peterborough fans. Posh fans give a steady backing. They pull a consistent mid-range home attendance in the region of 9,150, indicating solid but not spectacular support. Their away presence and culture is decent though. Their committed away followings and active local youth engagement suggest a dependable core fan base, though atmosphere-wise, they're less prominent than others. At number 12, we've got Barnsley fans. With a club as big as Barnsley and an average attendance of 12,812 this season, it's not great. With that being said though, Wycombe still seems to keep a decent atmosphere, even though it's only half full. But weirdly, they seem to have more of a presence away than they do at home. At number 11, I've gone for Wimbledon. There's an absolute amazing fan culture at AFC Wimbledon, a club essentially built by supporters from the former Wimbledon FC, and that whole culture just embodies grassroots history and tenacity. There's just a very tight-knit community identity, and since they built the new stadium, albeit not too long ago, they've still managed to draw between 7,000 and 8,000 home fans a game, which is not too bad. Now, by a process of elimination, you can probably guess which fan bases are in my top 10, but the order they're in will probably shock a few people. At number 10, we've got Exeter City fans. That probably hasn't shocked anyone. If anything, you'd probably put them lower, unless you're an Exeter City fan, in which case you'd probably put them higher. higher. No, seriously though, I think it's a very, very underrated fan base, and one that for me definitely had to go in the top 10. You are immediately drawn to the fact that Exeter stands out as the only club in the top 3 tiers that's fully supporter owned, and they've invested over 1.75 million into the club. Mental. Now here's a fun fact: in an EFL fan survey, Exeter scored 8.8 for matchday satisfaction versus an EFL average of 7.9, with opposing fans especially praising atmosphere, safety and inclusivity. The club's heritage and identity is weighed heavily upon the fans, and it's structured by the fans. And no, I'm not just saying this because I absolutely slated their stadium in one of my recent videos. The facts are there. At number 9, I've gone for Huddersfield fan. Now the bad thing about this one is I don't actually think they're that good. Home atmospheres are not very good, but they've still averaged at least 17,000 fans at home this season, which compared to other League One teams means you've got a strong core fan base, and they're not the worst away. At number 8, I've gone for Blackpool fans. Blackpool have averaged 10,541 home fans at home this season, which is one of the highest in the league for teams with a stadium less than 20,000 capacity. Blackpool fans are known for the vocal support and the sea of Tangerine, with a strong singing and chanting culture at Bloomfield Road. Having been in the Premier League not too long ago, and despite ups and downs, support remains committed. The Seasiders are also known for creating a lot of noise away too. At number 7, we've got Bolton. Bolton are a Premier League club, but they still continue to pull hefty home crowds. You look at a team like Huddersfield, who I'd say are a bigger club than Bolton, who still don't get anywhere near as many home fans at home. On average, yeah, 3,000 is a lot, okay. Bolton have struggled to get out of League One for a few years now, but are still pulling an average crowd of 20,000 fans. The only reason why I haven't put them higher is, yes, they bring a lot of fans, but the atmosphere is not the best. There's no doubt whatsoever that it'll be a tough stadium to play out for opposing players. I think when they do make noise, the layout of the stadium helps sort of preserve that noise, and it makes it seem like a massive fortress. And the away support cannot go unmentioned. Again, not the loudest, but they always come in the numbers, often featuring in top 10 lists for dedicated away supporters in the English Football League. At number 6, I've gone for the Cardiff fans. An average home attendance of 18,585 fans this season. Obviously not as good as Bolton's, but their away support is class. When you take into account distance and the amount of fans they still bring, just shows how good the fan base is. And before this season, the club were more recently a Premier League team than a League One team. And I know this isn't related to this season, but even amid a poor season and relegation last season, around 1,242 supporters travelled to the Norwich game for the final match of the season. You know, only a 540-mile round journey. And for me, that just wraps their fan base up to a T. At number 5, we've got Lincoln fans. Yes, you're probably thinking the Lincoln fan base is probably half the size of Bolton's and Cardiff's, and they've averaged around 9,000 fans at home this season, and the capacity is only 10,000. And you can just tell, despite it's not one of the biggest stadiums in the league, Central Bank is definitely a hard place to play for opposing players because the fans are so loud. And honestly, in terms of how loud Lincoln fans are home and away, I'd probably say they're even top 3 in League One for loudness. And at number 4, a lot of people aren't going to like this one. Stockport County. Clearly I've been living under a rock for a long time, or I just think they're one of the most underrated fan bases in the EFL. Very good home attendance in terms of their capacity, very good away crowds, and there's just a very positive sentiment around their fan base. And I don't know what else it is, they're just good. And yes, that warrants putting them number 4. Now moving on to the top 3 fan bases in League One for this season. At number 3, we've got Bradford. Valley Parade is widely regarded as one of the most atmospheric grounds in the country. Again, I said I'm only going to talk about this season, but last season when they were in League 2, they averaged 18,000 fans a game. Mental. They generate intense vocal support, especially from the Cop end. And you've got to consider Bradford are a massive club, but they haven't actually won much, yet they've still got the fans constantly getting behind them and spurring them on. And for me personally, I'd comfortably put Bradford fans at number 3. Now at number 2, who's it going to be? Luton or Plymouth? I'm sorry Luton fans, but I've gone for you. But can I just say, what a fan base. The unmatched loyalty of these fans cannot go unmentioned. Luton fans have stuck with the club through relegations, financial collapse and a 30-point deduction in the 2008-9 season, yet still packed out Kenilworth Road. Like, even when Luton were in the conference, they were still pulling higher home attendances than many League 1 and 2 clubs. They always seem to sell out away as well, whether it's a glamour Premier League fixture or any Tuesday night in Grimsby. But if we're going off League 1 this season, we'll go for a rainy night in Stevenage instead. The home atmospheres at Kenilworth Road as well are absolutely amazing. When you consider the fact that Kenilworth Road is the tightest ground in England and the fans are just so loud, it quite literally turns it into one of the most intense atmospheres in football. Now, why have I put Plymouth at number 1? I don't think the same thing can be said for Ashby Hammond though. He's number 27, you dick. Plymouth Argyle fans are some of the most dedicated, passionate and unique supporters in English football. Let me break it down why. Plymouth are one of the most remote clubs in the EFL, but fans still follow the team up and down the country without complaint. 6+ hour trips are standard. Carlisle, Sunderland, no problem. Whether it's League 2 or Championship, the Argyle fans never seem to disappear. And that's without mentioning home park as well. There's always a loud, passionate, intimidating atmosphere for the away fans. And Argyle have averaged 15,742 home fans this season, despite relegation from the Championship last season, which for League 1 is obviously solid. And if you are a Plymouth fan, I haven't forgotten the fans raised funds to save the club in 2011 during administration, and the fans basically stood side by side the club through the crisis. But anyway boys, I'm going to wrap the video up there. If you are a League 1 fan and I have ranked your team too low, please don't take it too heavily, and be the bigger person instead by liking and subscribing if you haven't already. But yeah, see you in the next one.